All right, Motown Rundown. We talk about Detroit sports on this podcast. Today's Wednesday, October 1st. Guys, thanks for hopping on here. I will say in a really fucked up way. Sorry to lead in already for the kids listening with the explicit language. We earned that little E next to our name on Spotify. In a weird way, the fact that the Tigers lost today actually sets up well for the timing, because if they would have won today, we would have gone a whole playoff series without talking about it and would just be talking about heading to the ALDS. But as of today, if the world ended today, we're at a 1-1 standstill. I don't necessarily feel great about where the Tigers are at. We will talk about it. Before we get into that, Trent, it was great to see you over the weekend. Trent and myself in a brothel of friends, family. Uh,
Brothel.
brothel. I think brothel is slang for a term for a male orgy, potentially, or
It's
a
not. It's
or a
not. It's
whorehouse.
it's it's a whorehouse. But
Sorry.
yeah,
What a great episode for the kids. Sorry,
yeah.
we're adults here. Trent and I went to the Lions game. We had a great time. Trent, I hope you had a good time too. I think
It
you had
was
a
a
good time.
blast. I had a great time. Are you kidding me? I got to sleep on Rabs' couch. I got to
Good
watch
couch.
Barstool Sports Advisors. I got to see a Lions win. We bet on 34-10 exact score. It
I
was
didn't bet Collins, this guy, the whole day to give him his flowers, the whole day. And this was just,
like
What
to
you?
an
What you?
annoying it was to an annoying point. Like I was being annoying about it.
but I
Going
think
up to
it
everybody.
came from you definitely were a little bit tuned up. And I think it was just one of those things where you were excited. The adrenaline was flowing. We were feeling good. So anyone that Trent could get to listen, he was saying, this final score is going to end 34-10. And his Brock and his buddies all bet it. And I think they won like $4 to $5 grand. Of course, if I would have bet the game, I think the Lions would have lost outright. So credit to me for staying off of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fucking sick, Trent.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Collins,
And did
the
you
funny
see?
part is I didn't even take it. I didn't even bet it
Oh, you.
myself. But
Yeah,
no,
you would
but
take it.
I just kept going up to everybody all morning. 34-10, 34-10, 34-10. And they
I
were
mean, you
like,
were locked in,
okay, I
dude.
guess the only way we get Trent to shut the fuck up is to take this bet. So they did.
Did you guys see that Big Cat won the 50-50 at the Cubs game today?
I just saw that.
Amazing.
That's hilarious.
That's why I'll never stop
Guy
playing
needs
the
more money.
50-50. Yeah, he's right. I'm sure. He might
No,
just
but
give
what's
up.
it all? That's sick. I mean, he's like the OG of that, dude.
He is. I think I'm gonna have to keep on it because you never know. Collins, you were
What's
celebrating a birthday on Sunday.
yeah,
How was the
yeah.
party?
It was fine. What's it called? I mean, I would rather been at the Lions game, I think, probably, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. It was fun though. All jokes aside, it was fun. I mean, the Lions. I mean, that was a pretty boring game. I mean, they took care of their business and stuff. Like, obviously, it's a little bit different when you're in the building. You get that energy and shit. But what's it called? I mean, they took care of business. That was an easy win. I never had any doubts the entire time. The Ryder Cup on Sunday got really interesting, so that was fun. So other than the fact that Bethpage Black, worst course I've ever seen. I don't know why they did it that way. Whoever's in charge of the course setup should get fired. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I am like completely broken after today's Tigers game. So I like if
Let's
you
get
feel
into it. We
no,
got
no,
to
it's
get
not
into
segue.
even.
it.
It's not even that. I'm not even doing a segue. If you're just like, why is Ryan's energy off? I am completely dejected, and I'm mad and hurt, and I'm just hurt. You know,
No, I understand.
hurt people hurt people.
Do you guys hear the dogs in the background? By the way, my neighbor's dog. Anyone hearing
I
that?
don't. I do
Okay,
not.
No.
thank God, because I might just go over there and tell them that we're recording. Anyway, we can get right into it, RC.
No,
And I
no, no,
think
no, no. We got to take 2 minutes to acknowledge your friends from Ohio. Rams had a bunch of buddies come up
oh yeah,
from
yeah.
the Cleveland area. They're Ohio State fans, so they were all fired up when Ohio State, won the game on Friday night or Saturday. And then, Browns fans having a good experience at Ford Field, their first time in Ford Field. They said it's one of the greatest
One of the
one of the
great
greatest
cities
experience.
in the country, Detroit. I know many people. There's
I
your
just want
Donald
to
Trump.
Well,
acknowledge them.
Cleveland's
That
a
was a
lot
lot
like
of fun.
Detroit, though, right?
Yeah, I think similar people gets a lot of similar heat. But yeah, we can shout out the Miller family. They got a beautiful Airbnb in Royal Oak, by the way.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, a little Saturday night. Trent and I were mixing it up. Got up early Sunday morning when I went over there for brunch. We got down to the tailgate. Derek was making cheese.
Airbnb in Royal Oak.
Yeah, well, they all that's where they set up shop because I think they were afraid to get an Airbnb closer to downtown, which
they don't do Airbnbs in Detroit, so that made sense though.
Yeah, so no, but they were in town, and they had a great time.
Airbnbs don't exist in downtown Detroit.
They don't exist in most cities.
Okay, I guess I never knew that.
Yeah, like you could get a place in like Highland Park and stuff like that, but I don't know if you want to do that.
I think like a full-on house. Yeah, a full-on house probably hard to find downtown.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think they had a great time with the tailgate scene. One of the guys, I won't out him. He said that people were being mean to him in his section, which I don't know. I think any Lions fans that were given, although Trent and I were getting into it, not getting into it, but there were some Browns fans, like a group of like 5 or 6 dudes our age behind us that very early in the game were doing like the and so as soon as we started beating the shit out of them, Trent and I turned around and did it a couple times. And those guys
RC, here's what happened.
They were out of the building early.
We'll get into the game later, but the Browns go up 7-0, and behind us, we just hear, I'm like, okay, I'm not standing for that in this fucking building.
My thing with away fans, and by the way, I had to deal with it a lot because my dad's tickets at Michigan State for like 10 years was literally next to the away section. And he finally decided to move because it was getting out of hand. We're at a home game and we feel like we're at a fucking away game because we're right next to all the away fans. Cheer for your team and stuff, but if you're gonna like add someone on, like you're gonna get what you have coming. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. My experience though, going to an NFL game as an away fan seems fucking nuts. I don't know if I would ever fucking do that.
I'm 0-3 doing it, by the way.
It's not even that. It's just like there's like you would think at a college game there are a lot of drunk assholes at those things, but like a lot of that is like student friendly fire. Know what I mean? Like if you're a student going to the student section, yeah, that could happen. It's just dicey at an NFL game with all these. I mean, people are just hammered at these.
Okay,
games.
okay, but the thing is, you're right. But the thing is, like,
but I don't doubt those guys people were being assholes to those guys. Like I don't doubt that at all. I think that happens everywhere though. That's not a Detroit thing.
Yeah.
No, what I'm trying to say is like you're right about the whole like good fan base, bad fan base kind of thing. Like when I went to Pittsburgh, awful. The Steelers fans were terrible. When I went to Buffalo, awesome. Had a great time. The Buffalo fans were great. So it's just
it's definitely like a certain like because everyone's like Nebraska. You go there for a away game, it's awesome. It's different when you go to like you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if you're a Michigan State fan going to a Michigan game, it's completely different. But the Browns are like brothers in arms. So I'm kind of shocked that there was any.
That's what he was saying too, and
hostility.
also like different conference, different division. Like I don't know, it is what it is. But I thought they had a great time. So. Or at least, I don't know. I hope they did. Anyways.
You know who didn't have a great time? Joe Flacco, because he's now benched.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is looking to hopefully cash in on some of his
terrible.
Early
investments. He threw one of the worst picks I've ever seen. That pitch was so bad.
You see Shadur today with his talking, not talking situation?
Don't even get me started. This isn't a Cleveland Browns podcast, so we're not doing it. But holy shit, was that bad?
How lucky are we to not have to deal with any of that stuff with our football team? I mean, my God, man, jeez.
Hey, but we should have drafted Malik Willis in 2021.
Yeah, why not?
Still thinking about that.
Well, people still bring it up.
Yeah, the funny thing about Shadur, I will say this, really random. He's a moron, but he's good. That's the thing that's annoying. I think he's good.
He's
based on what?
He's talented.
I watched those Colorado games, Trent. That team was like not good. He had like the worst offensive line I've ever seen, and he was still pretty good. I don't know.
Well, Dion is God's guy, quote unquote. So hopefully, hopefully that works out.
Yeah, I don't know. What's up? Can we talk about the Lions?
I'm fine with Shador.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Today was ridiculous.
Lions first.
Yeah, can we do Lions first?
We'll do Lions first. 34-10, 34-10, 34-10. Great call by Trent. I don't know. I don't have a lot on this game. I think I definitely think the start was.
Did I say that in the pitch too? By the way, I think I might have.
Is that
no?
What did I say?
I just know it wasn't that.
I'll read it. Wow, he's very definitive on that. I'll listen to it back. I keep
I might have
telling
said
myself
24-10.
could be that. I'll go
Yeah.
back and listen. I'll figure it out. But
well, Collins, you took the under.
I did take the under.
Yeah,
I
there
guess
was 34 and a
34-10, by the
half,
way,
though. It
was
went
the
under.
So
It
we'll
did go
get
under.
into that. But 34-10 was the under. But I think you took much more under than 34.
And then it was 24-10. I think that's what I said.
Okay.
Anyways, I think, well, to your point too, how that game started a little bit slow. I think we saw early on that Trent, I mean, you leaned over to me and you're like, this is going to be a dogfight, isn't it? And I'm like, maybe, like the Browns are a real team defensively, but I think all in all, that game ended up the way that we probably all expected it to. I don't know. I think the offensive line had another solid game, probably not as much in terms of the running game, but I thought that they looked competent defensively. Still seems like I feel like they got to Joe Flacco a lot less than they got to Lamar in this game specifically. I mean, Hutch had a nice sack. He went down with a quick injury that took the wind out of the building, but he got the wind knocked out of him coincidentally, or I guess ironically, however you want to splice that up. A couple injuries in that game. Terrion Arnold goes down, which I think, I mean, I hate to be this guy, but I don't think anyone was missing him on the field. Sounds like he could be back as soon as Sunday. DJ Reed was placed on IR today, so he will be gone for at least 4 weeks. I thought that was a knee injury. Thankfully, it was just a hamstring that won't require surgery. So
it looked terrible on TV.
Oh, it did look. I mean, he literally was like in coverage and just dropped to the ground. So it coming towards us. So at least you escape the worst case scenario there, but they are going to have to figure something out in terms of how to replace him, especially if Terrion Arnold is going to struggle the way that he has, and we can get into that a little bit more. But all in all, I mean, to only let up 10 points for your defense in whatever way it looked, I think, yes, Trent.
I just want to bring this up for RC's sake. When Terrion Arnold gave up the holding and the reception, Rabs was the loudest guy in Ford Field. Boo!
Oh, I stood up and booed. I absolutely stood up and booed because although the rest of the defense was great, everyone was doing their part. Amik Robertson, I feel like, got burned on a couple passes, but I stood up and booed I was the only one in there screaming at him because I just think it's disrespectful of the rest of the team that everyone else is pulling their weight but you. So anyway, he should be back though, and they'll have to figure out what they do without him at corner. Other than that, I mean, I think everyone else played well. I thought the special teams, I mean, Khalif Raymond has an awesome punt return touchdown, goes in the stands, gives his girlfriend, fiance, wife a kiss. That was great.
You want to tell that story of what was said right before that touchdown?
Oh yeah, Trent the whole game too was like, I can't believe they still have Khalif Raymond returning punts and kicks. The whole game was like
who did you want?
I don't know. Every time they roll him out there, like,
I think Sailors is just objectively better at it. But I
specifically
I specifically said it like 10 seconds before the punt return touchdown.
Raymond's good at punt returns. He's not great at the kick ones.
I said if Khalif Raymond is returning punts for this team in the Super Bowl, it's going to cost us the game.
Yeah, and then he just ran one to the house. It was pretty amazing, actually, how it timed out.
Khalif Raymond's pretty good. I like Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, I think he's a nice piece. He had a nice catch or two as well.
Yeah, he's a good role guy.
In terms of the offense, before I roll it over to you guys, I mean, I think more of the same. I think I wasn't that enamored. I don't think they had like a great game. And a lot of people are talking about this game too, about like this was a good spot for the Lions to have a bad game or they didn't play very well. I mean, they won the game by 24 points. I don't know. I understand the sentiment.
They didn't play well.
Sure, they didn't play. They weren't sharp, but they beat the shit out of those.
Hang on, I disagree with that. I thought they played fine.
Well, I just think they weren't. I mean, they weren't sharp.
I wouldn't go as far to say they didn't play well. They put up fucking 34 points.
This isn't an indictment. This is a positive.
No, I get it.
That their like B- team is like,
okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like they didn't
play a higher standard. Yes, you're right.
It's not even holding them to a higher standard. I'm not mad. It's a good thing. They're killing teams when they don't play great. Like they played fine. Like JMO, they were obviously trying to force feed JMO, get him going. That didn't work. Like there was some stuff there.
By the way, Collins, here's another story from the game. Rabs was blaming the JMO drops on Jared Goff.
No, this is
he was.
I knew this was.
It shouldn't be hard.
That was
for you
a perfect
to
throw by Goff.
I knew this is how Trent was gonna.
That pick was on JMO too. I think too.
First of all, I just shook around one of my room air fresheners and all the beads just popped out. So if you see me off the street, I'm picking up beads everywhere.
Nice.
The first throw to the sideline, this is again, I knew this is how Trent was going to sell this. I told him at the game, I know you're going to sell this to on the podcast. But all I said is that I think that the ball to the sidelines, I think J-Mo expected it to be inside and not to the outside. So he had to kind of turn his head and adjust to it. But yes, the ball hit him in the hands. He should have caught it. He should have caught the other one. I didn't say anything. All I was saying is that what Goff needs to work on and what those two need to get in sync with is that if you're going to throw the ball to J-Mo, throwing a bullet to the back of his head is not how you utilize him. You got to put some, we kept saying loft. You got to put some loft under the ball and let him go get it. But the guy's so fucking fast, he almost outruns the football. So that was it. It wasn't an indictment on anyone. I just think at the end of the day, I wouldn't say they didn't play well. I do not think they were as sharp as they could have been. They probably didn't have to be. And the only thing that I would say that I took away from that is I thought David Montgomery's usage was really, really strange coming off of the game that he had. But I will also say that the times they did use him, he was pretty much non-effective. So maybe it was one of those things where, it wasn't there for him. They didn't open up a hole big enough for him. And in the short yardage situations, he wasn't getting 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. It was more of like a 2, 3, 4, and they kind of went away from it and whatever. So I don't really have much more to add. I'll let you guys do what you have to do as I'm picking up my beats and talk about the Lions.
I just, what's it called? I think the Lions, just in general, they're just back to being what we thought they were last year and the last 2 years, basically. And I think we said this last week, and we said this before the season. We just kind of thought this was who they were going to be, and they are that. They're just as good as they've been the past couple of years. I think defensively they have a little bit more weapons and firepower. I mean, losing Reed is going to hurt because he's been good. He's been noticeably pretty good. You get the news that McNeil is practice window starts, so that's good news. I think that will help them a lot. I like what I've seen out of the rookie. He's solid. Williams, whatever the guy from OSU, he's had a really nice year so far. I think one of the biggest in the offense, they weren't that sharp, whatever. They could run the ball. Their offensive line is owning people. Decker played probably the best game I can remember Decker playing in like 5 years. I mean, Decker was lights out against
Decker's been
praise.
Having maybe a career year, which is a crazy.
It's 4 games in, so I'll relax on that.
He's playing very well. I don't think he has a single penalty yet.
No, maybe he's been really. I would knock on wood on that because it's early and he can't stay healthy. But he was really, really good. The guys inside, I mean, Ratledge looked awful. Him and Mahogany looked awful week 1. And that was like the biggest concern kind of coming into this year is what this offensive line is. They've been almost dominant ever since then. So whatever adjustments Fraley made after Green Bay, I mean, they've been lights out. So that's like the positives on the offensive side. Defensive side of the ball, the one thing I want to say is Jack Campbell is a fucking superstar.
Yep.
He is so good. And it's another, what's it called? Brad Pitt that is hit. He is really fucking good. And this is and Derek Barnes has had a really nice year too, I thought. He sneaky was the guy that when they lost him last year, he's just a good role guy for what they want to do on defense.
He's good at rushing the passer.
Well, it just gives you a little creativity because when it's just Anzalone and Campbell, you basically know Anzalone's rushing and Campbell's dropping back. So like when you have that other guy, Barnes, and who can rush the passer or even drop back, it just kind of switches it up a little bit. And I think Trent said this last week, you get Rodrigo back, and that brings another dimension for first and second down because he's a great run linebacker. And he was actually pretty good in coverage. Rodrigo had a really good year last year. I kind of forgot about that.
He's decent at covering the tight end, yeah.
No, but he had a good year. He had his best year last year, I thought. But I think that's my biggest takeaway. I mean, the corners, it's going to be a grind in the next couple of weeks. Like, no sugarcoating it. They're going to have some issues out there. I think it's time that you bring a Meek Robinson outside. I just really believe that. I'm not ready to cut the cord on Terry and Arnold, but I would try it. I maybe put Terry and Arnold in the slot, and that probably won't help either because he's so fucking handsy. It's just, I don't know. I'm not gonna beat up on the guy because he gets shit all the time. He's not improved. I feel like he's almost declined from what I
It's
saw.
amazing
last
how
year.
many penalties the guy takes too.
But it's okay.
Well, he
It's
took the
okay
most
to-
penalties last year, but it's not even that. He's getting beat too. Last year, he would be in the right position, and he would just kind of like, oh fuck, I'm gonna put my. He just would panic. It would be more mental stuff. This time, it's just like he's beat, and he had one that went against him where I think the one you talked about, Rabs, where he got called for it, and then they caught it. It wasn't a holding. It was a bad call, but still, he's just too handsy, and he
The
still
ball
hasn't
got
figured
caught
out.
anyways.
Yeah, ball got caught anyway. He got beat anyway, so it didn't really matter. But my biggest point though is I don't think Campbell is getting the love that he deserves. He is an absolute animal right now, and he had a good year last year. He's even better. He's a stud, dude. He is really, really good.
So I don't think the pressure was necessarily as good as it was last week. At like getting after Lamar. Obviously, you didn't have 7 sacks or anything like that, but I thought it was really solid. I thought it was really good pressure going up against a 40-plus-year-old Joe Flacco. How many drops did I almost said Bengals. How many drops did the Browns have simply because the ball wasn't put exactly where it needed to be? Okay. And I know the Browns are a bad team, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this for a couple of reasons. One, I sound like shit, but also there's not a whole lot to talk about. Like the Lions just took care of business. They really did. They looked better in every phase of the game after like 5 minutes when the Browns took that 7-0 lead. Okay. Kirby Joseph's pick was awesome. Talk about getting the fans fired up when he literally sat under it like it was a punt and then just caught it. That was awesome. I thought the running game was decent, but you didn't need it to be that great anyways. St. Brown, another great week. Laporta, another great week. You know, I got no negatives, guys. None. Zero. Other than Terry and Arnold and Collins, you're exactly right. It's going to be the depth at cornerback right now is very concerning, and it should be. The positive is you play the Bengals this week, who have a backup quarterback who scored 3 points last weekend. So
this might be a Tracy
maybe you
Tate.
can save it off a little bit.
I think they should go out and trade for a cornerback.
They should. They absolutely should.
And I'm not like an in-season NFL guy, and that's something that's not in Brad's MO. But I think this defense is pretty like the pass rush is not great. Armstead's out again, whatever. I mean, who fucking didn't expect that? But
Davenport?
sorry, Davenport. Did I say
it's funny
Armstead?
that I knew who you meant, even though you weren't even close. But
I said Armstead.
Yeah. Anyways.
Davenport. But the thing with McNeil, once you get McNeil back, he is a great pass rusher. And I've said this a million times. He's good against the run, but he is he kind of reminds me of Geno Atkins, like the guy in Cincinnati who was get like 10 or 12 sacks a year inside. Like he's a very unique type of defensive tackle that helps them push the pocket. So he will be a big addition to helping that pass rush. I just think getting a corner would make sense. You've seen teams do it in season. It's not crazy to get a guy in the secondary. So
there also are a couple names available. Like Stephon Gilmore is a free agent. CJ Gardner Johnson.
They signed some. I have no interest in CJ Gardner Johnson.
I'm just saying.
They signed someone to the practice squad today or yesterday.
Asante Samuel Jr. is a free agent. Like there are names out there.
I wonder if his dad would still play. Love to have him. That's a good call, though, Collins. I don't disagree with that. But do we have?
I just don't think they have depth. I think Trent said that really well. They have Yasin, who he's like fine, but I just don't. I think they need one more guy, even if they're all healthy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Is there anything else we want to touch on with this game, or should we move on to the picks and talk Tigers?
I'll say this quickly. I had a great time with Rabs. If people listen to this, they might think that Rabs and I were at each other's throats the entire time.
We were for a second. The people in our section were laughing because there were a couple times where we were just arguing about like really inconsequential things. Yeah, for sure. But no, we always have a great time. That was a blast. Shout out Nuge for the tickets. Thank you, Nuge.
Thank you, Nuge.
Front of the pod, Nuge.
Good call.
All right, let's talk about the Bengals game here. I got a lot of friends going to this game. I almost got sucked into going, but I think especially now that Joe Burrow's out, and I'd love to see Cincinnati, but I'd probably rather go for a Tigers game out there. Anyways, shout out to everyone that's going out there. I'll be keep you in my thoughts and prayers, and I hope you keep me in your thoughts and prayers as well for whatever reason you may need to.
How you doing? How you
Lions at the 2-2 Cincinnati Bengals. The total for this game is 49.5. The spread is in favor of the Lions, minus 10.5. I'll go real quick. I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to take the under because I don't know if the Bengals will score. Very unfortunate scene in Cincinnati. That team has quit. I don't know what they're waiting for in terms of trading for a quarterback. I think the offensive line stinks. The head coach might be worse. That entire team has quit. No one's happy. It probably is going to be 60% Lions fans, it feels like. And I'm sure everyone that bought their ticket at $500 a pop on the premium can get in on Game Time for a cool $15 if you wait right until kickoff. So shout out to everyone that's going. I got the Lions in the under. This game could end 40-3 in favor of your Detroit Lions. Shout out Jake Browning. Glad to see he's still in the league.
I mean, what's it called? He had like a nice little stint when he first got the. What was that? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
last year?
Yeah,
last
I do.
year,
Yeah, I think he does deserve to be in the league on a roster somewhere. Yes.
No, but it's just
good.
like they've been terrible since Burrow went out, and the way this roster is constructed, I don't know if Burrow's out, the season's over, just point blank.
Correct.
So 425 game, which is funny. I can't remember. What's it called? A Eastern time zone we're like the Lions having 425 games like always throws me off. That's when you know you've like kind of made it. Not the Sunday night game or like the Monday night game. It's a 425 game because it's just like, oh, we're at 425. My entire life I just was conditioned 1 o'clock. Yeah, I think the Lions roll. I think the Lions are gonna put up a bunch of points. And Rabs, what you said, I think this will probably trigger them going out and making a trade for someone like Wilson or somebody like Jameis.
Yeah, you have to.
I think it will trigger that. But the problem is, I think if you're a Bengals fan, you're probably like, should we just tank this season if Burrow's not going to play?
Wait, hang on. By Wilson, did you mean Zach or Russ?
Russ.
Okay, I thought that
the volleyball from Castaway.
I could talk myself into Zach Wilson being good somewhere.
Not in the NFL, but
better than Jake Browning, maybe.
Maybe I don't know.
Nope.
I don't give up on like
RC,
quarterback. It takes me a while to give up on like a good college quarterback.
That's how it should be.
And good looking
guy.
But yeah, I like the Lions points over.
Lions and over. Trent.
Yeah, if there was ever a week to take the Lions and under, it would be this week because the Bengals did just put up 3 points. But I'm gonna take the Lions and over because if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. And the last thing I'll say on this is I'm glad that the Lions have the Bengals on the schedule so that I can give my quick little Bengals take. I don't think they've ever been that good. I really don't. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they were 10-7. Okay. They were a wild card team that won every playoff game by 1 score, and everyone just fell in love with Joe Burrow and Joe Burrow and all this stuff. Like, the guy's been hurt 4 years in a row. He has a chance next year to win Comeback Player of the Year for the not once, not twice, 3rd time. That's not a record you want to have. And I got to give credit to Nick Wright on FS1 because he's the one that said that. And the second I heard it, I thought it was hilarious. You don't want to have the record for the most Comeback Player of the Year awards. The bottom line is the Bengals aren't a good football team. They weren't good last year, and Joe Burrow played most of the season. I don't think they've ever been that good, and I think the Lions roll. So give me the Lions to get to 4-1. I'll take the over for the sake of taking the over.
Who was the coach before? What's the guy's name? Zach Taylor that's there right now.
Marvin Lewis.
Marvin,
no.
But who was there? But
No.
not after Marvin Lewis.
No,
Marvin Lewis.
It was Marvin Lewis right to Zach Taylor.
How
Was it
long has
really?
that Taylor been there?
It's got to be like 4 or 5 years. Dude.
5 years, I
he's been
think.
there the whole time,
Marvin
bro.
Lewis was there for 20.
God, dude, Marvin Lewis was just talk about thinking about your childhood, man. What a staple of my Marvin Lewis, what class act being in the league. But
Yeah.
When the Lions
never won
fired
anything.
Patricia, they actually interviewed Marvin Lewis. Do you remember that?
Marvin Lewis wasn't that bad of a coach.
No, but it was like Jim Caldwell. The guy.
Yeah, he's very Caldwell-esque. I think Todd Bowles is like that too for Tampa.
Todd Bowles stinks.
The difference was I think Jim Caldwell got.
By the way, this is sounding like I'm making like a racist comment because all three of these guys are black. They're just all the same guy. This has nothing to do with the color of their skin.
Correct. It does not.
I was thinking that.
Not racist.
Yeah. I was saying it. I was like, wait, what? Oh, all three of those guys are bald black dudes.
Yeah, Brian Flores too. No. Inclusive podcast. All right.
D'Amico
Anyway,
Ryans hot seat.
He actually is. I mean, I don't know what's going on
that
with
quarterback. Stinks. CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
Okay. Let's do the prime time stuff here, shall we? Because I got a T-bone steak that's resting. In some salt and pepper. I got some thyme, rosemary, little garlic butter I'm going to throw in there in the cast iron skillet, and we're going to keep it rolling. So anyways, Tigers. I'm trying to think of where we were the last time we spoke. I think that was my big speech about just getting in. They did do just that. They lost the game, I believe, the day we recorded, and then they won the game on Saturday in Boston, which got them into the playoffs. How that Cleveland game ended with the hit by pitch against Texas for them to win their game on Saturday is ridiculous, but such is life. And then Sunday, you don't do your job. I don't remember if Cleveland won, lost, whatever, but either way, you don't win the division, which is a separate conversation to have. It's not important right now. So the speech that I gave about just getting in and at least, whatever, getting in, winning a series, whatever your threshold is, you're now in a spot where you can make a lot of people forget about what happened at the end of the year. The problem is after the Tarek Skubal win, which I guess we can spend a little bit of time on, one of the greatest postseason pitching performances that I've seen. Talk about a rebound from the last start he had, which was coincidentally against Cleveland. And they obviously got to rest him for that one day in Boston, which was great. But I think 14, 15 strikeouts, he was pretty much unhittable. The one thing I'd like to have back, obviously, is I think sometimes he gets carried away and he tried to go play that ball behind the mound, which you should have probably just let one of your infielders grab. I think there were a lot of people that probably would have left him in the game for longer. But nonetheless, that game at the end there where you have your play where Torkelson misses that ball at first base, Jose Ramirez gets to third, Will Vest is in, everyone's sweating, it's panic time again. Here we go again. That was
an incredible play by Javi, by the way.
It was a great play, and I appreciate you giving him his flowers. I'm not going to rag on Torkelson, but that's a very easy play. It's a very easy one hop.
Well, the thing is, like, even if you don't make that play, it's pretty inexplicable to let that ball get by you.
Correct. And it just kept rolling and rolling, and Jose Ramirez gets to third base, and I can't remember what happened to the next guy. I think the next guy might have got on.
Strikeout.
Oh, strikeout.
Change up Vest. And then the pickle.
Yes, and so the pickle, the Tigers have not had a
strikeout, pickle, pop out.
Yes.
The Tigers have not had a bounce go their way like that pickle situation. They have not had something go their way like that in a long time, to where I almost thought, this is it. They're over it. They're going to go take care of business tomorrow being today, and we move on. So either way, you tip your cap to Tarek Skubal. I don't even remember. Was it Torque that drove the run in? How did they score their runs, the Tigers? Are 2-1 the first game.
Torque had single air, so Terry gets a second, and then Torque got a single.
Yep. And how'd they get the second run?
McKinstry bunt.
Suicide, right?
Safety squeeze,
which was they've only bunted 5 or 6 times the entire season. Now it's all coming back to me. So
I think it was their 5th sack bunt. Yes.
Great and great time for it. Credit to Zach McKinstry for getting it down. Everyone was moving. That was awesome. You beat him at their own game.
He's probably, not to spend a whole lot of time on this, but he's probably the only guy on the team that can do it, right?
I would like to think that maybe when Seal can get a bunt down if he had to.
Like Matt Vierling could, but like who else?
Jeez, what happened to Matt Vierling, by the way? Is he in an incubator somewhere? Or is he in outer space? So anyway, we can talk. The credit to Will Vest. They got out of that game. The pitching was solid, led by Tarek Skubal. That was incredible. So that makes it a little bit harder for me to, obviously, I said some things about him after the one Cleveland game, and I still think some of those things are true, but he was incredible. And he's obviously the best, if not one of the best pitchers in baseball. So you win that game, you come into today with Casey Mize. And coming
Can I
into
say
this
something
week-
before
Yes.
we move on in that game?
Yes.
That was Struble was nasty. Like giving up that one run was a complete fluke again. It was his fault that run scored.
Yes.
Completely his fault.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, I mean, that shit's like Verlander, peak Verlander. It really is. People like that is as good as it gets right there.
Yeah,
So.
he was blowing guys away for sure. So he was incredible.
No, I just think he should, after the way that Cleveland game happened last time they played, for him to respond like that, it just shows you what he's made of. So it was nice to see
Great point. Great point.
Yes.
Unfazed, same team, similar situation, and he was nails. Agreed.
Totally. So now we move into today, and I felt confident about today. I thought this was as big of a spot that Casey Mize has maybe ever had to pitch in. I'm trying to think of what he was involved in maybe last year with this team. But really a spot where I thought, and I jokingly said, the outlook of Casey Mize's career in Major League Baseball hangs in the balance of these next couple hours here. I texted that, I think, to you guys too, which I was obviously very tongue in cheek, but I just thought it was a big spot for him. And he lets up the bomb. And that is, Casey Mize and his splitter. If that splitter is not when it's located, it's a nasty pitch. When it's not located and it doesn't start at the bottom of the zone and doesn't fall off the table and it hangs, you can get killed on it. He has before. He doesn't strike out anyone, but he just finds a way to pitch to contact and get out of innings. I actually thought they could have left Casey Mize in the game longer, but I am truly not all that upset about any of the pitching moves today until we get to Troy Melton.
Holton was lights out. He was lights out.
And talk about a guy that you've needed to be good.
They
Holton was great.
could have left Mize in, yes, but the fact that it didn't bite the Tigers in the ass because Holton was great, we're not upset about it. You know what I mean?
Well, what's it called?
And we'll get into it. The problem was the untimely hitting.
Yes.
Stranding 14 fucking guys.
I don't know if I said this on here. Like, I think Mize is like a good pitcher and stuff like that, but he's one of those guys when it gets to the third time through the order, I don't want him in the baseball game.
Yep.
He gives up hard contact, and he's still a young pitcher. He can maybe figure it out eventually. Like, I do think he has good stuff. I feel like he's missing something with his breaking stuff. I don't know if he's tunneling it correctly or whatever. I feel like that he has a higher ceiling than he is. He's obviously the number one pick overall. Like, obviously he has a high ceiling, but like the fastball is there. I think he has good command with the fastball, stuff like that. I still feel like he has like room for improvement, but I thought that was a great move by Hinch. He walked Jay Ram. He's like, fuck
it worked
this.
out. Yeah.
No, but he was like, well, the thing he did it so early, it made Vogt not be like, hey, I can't take out my whole lineup for righties in the fourth inning. So we just had to deal with Holton against like basically 6 straight lefties. So I actually thought,
yeah, I hear you. All I'm saying is if that wouldn't have worked out, like if
he would have got shit on. That's all. That's baseball managing.
We'd be bitching right now. You know what I mean?
It's baseball managing, but it worked. It worked.
For sure. That was fine. And I think just to kind of jump ahead, I thought the spot that Finnegan came in with, I was fine with that too.
He was nasty.
You throw arguably your best bullpen arm against the meat of that Cleveland order, which can be deadly if you don't pitch to him properly. And he was great. So now to kind of backtrack, because we will talk into how the game unravels. I mean, Trent, you said it. I think they left 14 runners on base. I heard something that Mike Valeni said after the game today about going back to last postseason or something about their last 4 postseason games. They are like 5 for 55.
4 of 43
Close.
In the last 4 postseason games, including yesterday, by the way.
With runners in scoring position.
With runners in scoring position.
And that to me is, and I'll spend a little bit of time here before we everyone watch the game.
What is 4 of 43? 9%?
I couldn't tell you. That would have to be an immediate calculator for me. But the middle of this order for this team, I mean, they have been snake bitten for months. I couldn't tell you. I mean, they're not hitting the ball to the outfield. They're not hitting the ball in the air.
They've just been bad.
They're striking out. They're not walking, and it is just it's so disheartening that it seems like time and time and time and time again, the middle of this order and your so-called studs that you look at as the core of your team between Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson. I wouldn't exactly throw Kerry Carpenter in that mix, but if you want to lump him in because he bats third and he's been pressing for God knows why and God knows how long.
Get
Well,
better
also,
at bats
he's
today.
he's one of the few guys that does.
He's
have
just been
like
hurt. He's definitely one of those guys.
He's
Yeah,
got a
definitely one
but
of those guys.
to consistently find yourself in situations, and not just with runners on base, but in high leverage spots with runners on second and third. I feel like they had runners at the corners with no outs 2 times today, maybe. And the Tigers don't bunt. It's not a part of who they are, which is what it is. They did it yesterday, and the squeeze worked brilliantly. There's very select players that have to be at the plate and on the bases for you
got
to
to
do
have the
things
guys
like
that
that.
can do it. Yes,
You absolutely do. But the fact that these guys, and it starts with whatever the one scenario was, where I believe it's runners at the corners and Torkelson comes up and pops up on the infield. If I had $1 for every time I saw that guy do that in a spot like that, it negates everything else the guy hit. It unfortunately, all the other positives that we see here and there of the home runs and the RBIs and in a couple spots earlier this year, it is unbelievable to me how inept this team is top to bottom in these big spots when it matters. And it's been this way since the All-Star break. They can't even hit a fly ball deep enough in the outfield to even warrant the thought of someone tagging up and running to a different base.
Well, Rebs, I think that's the point you made. I'm not asking for you to fucking hit a double or hit a home run here.
Correct.
The situational hitting on this team, and this was something they were good at before the All-Star break. And like you can look at their numbers, they've hit a bunch of fucking home runs this year.
They were great at it.
No,
Their
but
run differential was incredible.
No, but the thing that they did though, Rabs is right. They were able to get guys over, hitting the ball to the right side of the infield. They weren't like, if you looked at their numbers, it wasn't like McKinstry was tearing the cover off the baseball, which is the one thing that has completely been lost. Like he's just not the same guy he was. And Javi had some big moments, but the thing that made this team really good, they would extra base hit, guy gets a third, sat fly. Like they were pretty dialed in with that stuff in the beginning of the year. It wasn't just the home run stuff. Like they've hit a ton of home runs and they've lost that. And I think people are pointing to that. It's like, where did the power for this team go? Torkelson, at the end of the day, he just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it as a top of the order guy. He's a nice player. He's probably meant to be on a really good contender, like a 6-hitter that is capable of hitting 30 home runs. He's had some really nice moments here the last month. I think he's been one of the only guys who's had consistently good at bats.
Okay, I hesitate to go that far though, Collins, because if the Tigers do squeeze it out today, we're not talking about any of that.
I would still be talking about.
I'm there with you, Collins.
It's been 3 years of it.
I'm there.
It's been 3 years. It's not just a today thing. It's been every bid spot he's ever been in. He is just not a top of the order guy. And
okay, but what I'm saying, and I'll let you finish. What I'm saying is I don't necessarily think, like, if the Tigers won today and they're moving on, I don't think we're talking about how Torque can't hit in the middle of the order and that he's got to be a 6-hitter.
I just
think that's a little much. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think I'm being generous to Torque.
I'm nitpicking, Rebs.
I would fucking trade him tomorrow if they lose. Like, to be honest. I'm fucking over his shit, just in general. And he's a nice player. He is a nice player. He actually has value, and he could work out better somewhere else. But currently, he is getting endless opportunities in the middle of this lineup in high leverage situations, and he just hasn't delivered enough.
Okay,
and
you can
look at Riley Green too. The thing about Riley Green is I don't really know what's going on with him because this second half of the year has been super. Like, he hasn't really played a full season of Major League Baseball. He's been injured in and out. Like, You haven't really seen him 162 to 160, and something is off. I don't really understand.
Okay, but aren't you confident calling him like a 270 hitter who just strikes out a
No,
lot?
Riley Green is right. By the way, Riley Green, watch out for this tomorrow. I think he might hit a home run. He's seen the ball a lot better. He's had some good at bats here the first 2 games of the playoffs. I'm just saying he's been brutal at the middle. His at bats have been terrible for like the last month. I think he's actually locked in here a little bit. I thought he had a good swing on a guy on second base to hit it right to the center fielder. He just doesn't look like the. I don't know what he's doing at the plate with runners in scoring position. I don't know what anyone's doing at the plate with runners in scoring position. Carey, Rabs, you're completely right. Carey, every time there's runners in scoring position, I'm completely fine with the free swinging bullshit that he chases a lot. But if there's no one on base, I completely understand it. The one thing I really liked about Carey in previous years, and I know he's in and out of the lineup, when there was runners in scoring position, he got the ball in play. And I don't really understand. I think this is a hitting coach issue. I don't know who even the fuck their hitting coach is. That's how big of a bum this guy is. I can't. It's unbelievable that Javi Baez has turned into the best hitter on this team. Like it's. And
By
the thing
way,
about
I
it is,
think Javi's the one guy that hasn't struck out the series. Is that correct?
he's the only guy. Him and Jahmai Jones, who struck out today with guy in first and third. He also got fucked. That was ball 4
Correct.
on that 3-1.
The umpiring has been.
It has not been good.
It's not been good for either side, though.
Time for the robots.
So we're not going to blame it on that, but I'm glad you brought that up because
people were like, "Oh, he struck out." That was a pretty ballsy move to take out Green. I thought it was the right move. If you saw Green against fucking left-handed hitting, he hasn't gotten the ball in play enough. Jahmai's been red hot. I know that's a tough spot to bring in a guy for his first playoff at bat. I think that was his first playoff bat ever.
He's never made the playoffs.
But that was not close. That was a walk, and then he had to swing at the exact same pitch because it was like he just got called a strike. So I can't really blame him for that. And then Winslow has completely lost it this year at the end of the year. He's a complete non-factor. On the right, when he's batting on the right side of the plate, it's a problem. I don't know what his approach is. He's late. I think when he's on the left side of the plate, he's getting the ball in play a little bit and doing something. So I know he had a home run last week from the right side of the plate, but I don't even know what to do because Rab said this earlier in the chat. It's like switch up the lineup. The problem is no one fucking else is doing anything either. Like Dingler is been a guy who he had a couple nice at bats today getting on base, and he always has a good at bat. But at the beginning of the year, in the first half of the year, he would come up with some big knocks. You know what I mean? Like that was the thing that made this Tigers team really good to start the year. They top to bottom, they had guys driving in runs, and a guy who goes under the radar as a guy who's completely disappeared is Gleyber Torres. He was a completely different player too, and that's the thing. There's 8 guys I'm talking about being completely different players at this stretch of the season. So I don't know if that's a managing decision or what the fuck they're being guided to do in the analytics department. But it's been they've completely lost it, and I have zero confidence in them winning this game tomorrow. Zero. I think the season's over. I think they lost today. The way that they lost today ends their season. You got Flaherty tomorrow, who. I mean, he will probably have the shortest leash imaginable. Like, I don't know how you have any confidence in this team to put up more than 2 runs. And to win tomorrow, they're going to have to put up 4 or 5. So
okay, so here's where I'm at, and I truly feel this way, and I guess we can shift into like the picks, quote unquote, for this Tigers game. And I'll get this episode out tonight, so hopefully people can hear it before the game actually happens. I do think the Tigers are going to win tomorrow. However, I don't think there's any, like, I was trying to say this to my dad and express this, like, at what cost? Like, they're not going to beat the Blue Jays. There's no chance they beat the Blue Jays. And we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it. But it's frustrating, and it's part of a bigger picture, zoom out kind of thing. Like you mentioned, Collins, you have 8 guys who have forgotten to hit the ball. Or how to hit the ball. So, Rabs, I'll give it back to you because I know you probably have some more thoughts on game 2 here. Do. I do think the Tigers win game 3, and I think they advance. And you know what? I will take solace in sending Cleveland home. That in and of itself,
I don't even give a fuck anymore.
Happy. But
I don't
no,
even give a
no.
fuck about getting to the
I'm,
World Series anymore. Just fucking beat Cleveland. I'm so
I'm with
sick
you.
of this shit. They're
That's
so bad.
That's what I was gonna say. Beat Cleveland, send them home, and then you can, go back to your
I'm
lake
still
house
not going to be
week
happy.
and think
but I'm
about
not-
how you fucked this. You squandered this so bad. They were the first team to what? 50 wins, 60 wins, 70 wins. What are we
I
doing?
mean, they
here,
lose
man?
tomorrow. They lose tomorrow. I do think people should be fired. And Hinch is not going to get fired. They've talked about him getting extended.
Scott Harris should be fired tonight.
I mean, I honestly, the thing about they're not going to fire Harris either. They have to do something though. They have to switch up that dugout. Who's on Hinch's hitting staff? Like there needs to be changes. Regardless, if Hinch got fired, I wouldn't even give a fuck because I think this. And to be honest, the thing about it is, I don't think it is Hinch's fault because I don't. Because at some point, if you have actual players in the middle of your lineup, they're going to snap out of this. So I think it's more Harris's fault because I saw Alex Bregman last night in a big spot, double down the line in Yankee Stadium. Like when you have a steadying fucking guy, and I get it, they went after Bregman. He decided to go to Boston for the shorter term and the more money. They didn't want to give him that flexibility. That's completely fine. Do something. Trade for someone. Get someone who's an established veteran to help these young guys. Guess what? Maybe if Spencer Torkelson had a guy he could hit behind or a guy who could protect him, he wouldn't. In every one of these high leverage situations, he would be able to perform. Like, know what I mean? Like he has no one to protect him. And I don't know. I hate to give Torch shit because Torch has actually had a nice month and I've liked what I've seen out of him. But when it's come to high leverage situations in these playoff games, he's just a guy who doesn't have it. And Riley Green, I don't think has it either. So that's a big issue. So yeah, that is, if they lose tomorrow, that is the number one problem in this roster. You look at the pitching and the injuries and the starting staff. I actually think the starting staff will be fine. I think they will figure it out the bullpen. But you have some nice players here, but you don't have great players. So how do you get better off of that? And I would love for Tort to come out and fucking prove me wrong tomorrow. I'm not one of those guys who's like, I hope they lose. This fucking sucks. Like, I'm not like that. I'm going to root for this team tomorrow, and I hope these guys do well. But at the end of the day, you just have to call it the way it is. These guys can't hit in big spots. And when you're batting in the 4-5-3 hole, you're the guys who have to bury the brunt. And everyone loves Carey, and everyone gets mad that he doesn't face lefties. But he needs to be in this conversation too. He's had plenty of big spots in the last 3 weeks that he hasn't delivered.
He's in the conversation, but he's like 5th or 6th down the list.
Well, he just hasn't had the reps. So I'm not going to give him as much shit as Riley and Torque. But he's in there. He's had some awful at-bats in tight spots. And Gleyber Torres, a guy who is probably, after the first 110 games, is like, how much money am I to make in free agency?
Well, yeah, he's playing for a contract, yes.
And that's probably not going to be the same way. Like, they got gifted in the first inning. A guy dropped a routine fly ball. You had a guy, what's it called, almost like break his wrist on a ground ball, and 3 straight strikeouts with those guys. That just can't happen. That just can't happen. Good teams don't do that. And so I'm sorry I'm rambling. At the end of the day, they just don't have the great players. They have a lot of nice pieces. I'm not going to be like, when they lose, this is over, completely blow this up. That's not the situation. I just think it's been highlighted for the front office that they need to go out and get real guys. They need to go out and get steadying guys because I'm trying to think, like Dombrowski, that was the thing Dombrowski was so good at, was finding like a 5 or 6 hitter, just like, okay, let's go out and get Delman Young after the trade deadline. A guy who can help this lineup. You know what I mean? Let's go get Victor Martinez on like a steal of a contract to protect Miguel Cabrera. Omar Infante's on the trade block. That guy hits 300. Let's bring him in. So there's just got to be more moves that make you better today. And I understand you got McDonald coming up. You got Clark coming up. You got all these guys coming up. But it's evident they are missing a bat in the middle of this lineup. And I would like the bat to have some sort of playoff experience because the way this division looks and the talent they have with their arms and some of these young guys, they're going to be playing playoff games in the next 5 years. I don't know if they're not going to make moves, it won't be every year, but they're going to have opportunities. So I hate to shit on Torque and get all pissy about that, But at the end of the day, he's just not that guy.
It's
And it's
okay
not
to
his fault.
expect more. It's okay to expect
That's not even
more.
expecting more. He's a nice player. He's not a superstar.
You
That's
should
fine.
expect more. He's a 1-1 guy.
I understand that, Trent, but I respect the fact that he was at the lowest of the low last year, and he's come back and he's been a good player. He's been a plus player for the Tigers, but he's not at that Nets level, and neither is Riley Green. I'm sorry. If you want to be at the Nets level, when you get in these big moments, you perform. And we talked about it last week with Terrence Skubal. You want all this money. You want to be considered the best pitcher in baseball. Guess what? Yesterday he showed it. Put his nuts on the table. That's what superstars do. So they just don't have a superstar in this lineup that can get these guys out of a funk because everyone's going to go through slumps. But when you have a Miguel Cabrera who can just hit a home run, you know what I mean? One pitch, that's a run on the board. It frees everyone else up. They just don't have a guy in that lineup. And I'm not expecting them to have fucking Miguel Cabrera. Just have someone who could steady the ship. And I know Glaber was supposed to be that guy like that. But when you have just one of those, like they could afford to get 3 of those guys. So it's going to have to be a commitment this offseason. And I know I sound like it's doom and gloom. I just think the season's over. If you watch that game closely today, they were begging the Tigers to take over that game, and they wouldn't give it to them.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? They were begging for us to end that series, and they didn't want to do it. So is what it is.
Yep. Well, I would say here's where I'm at, and I'll try to keep things in the scope of there is.
I'm sorry
still,
it took so long.
No, I love when you talk Tigers. You deserve. I mean, I talk enough on this.
I'm
podcast.
so mad.
So here's where I'm at, and I think stating the obvious and is well, number one, I think in terms of I'll say that for the end. My thing with the lineup, and I texted you guys today about the need for that, again, that middle of your order has been so unproductive in general, but more so in these high leverage positions. And I think the problem is that the Tigers are so committed to, I appreciate their approach to developing their homegrown talent and to develop from within. You see that, and they are missing Colt Keith so dearly right now, who no one said a word about, but they could really use him in this lineup. But they are so committed to the homegrown talent that they have put a lot of pressure on the backs of Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green, and really by committee, Kerry Carpenter. I think Colt Keith takes a brunt of that. I think Meadows takes a lot of that too. And these are all guys who are young, who are developing, who have had to carry the cross for this bad Tigers team for a couple years now. And while I think that they all individually have some nice skill sets, and what I mean by that is Parker Meadows represents everything you could really want out of a leadoff hitter. He's fast. I think he controls the bat well. He has a little bit of pop, but for the most part, I think he slaps the ball around and can get on base, and that's a great guy to have lead off the game. Collins, you mentioned Glaber Torres, who I actually will. I do think just in terms of the volume of base hits, I think he's still putting the ball in play better than most players on this team, but he really hasn't shown that killer instinct that it seems like he had earlier in the year where he was a problem to pitch against. Now we get to Kerry, who only hits against the righties. He's had some incredible moments this season, but talk about a guy that's full court pressing in the batter's box who's just trying to do way too much. Then we get to Torque. Then we get to Riley. And Riley Green, who it's just a tough look for me when you are being interviewed about your strikeouts and your response is that they really don't matter that much to me. And AJ doubles down like they don't matter very much to AJ either. I just think is so disrespectful to say as a guy that strikes out all the time in every situation when all anyone is asking you to do, as you said, Collins, I don't need a double. I don't need a triple. I don't need the ball to fly out of the park. Make contact with the baseball and put it.
Approaches are terrible. They're just awful.
And I think he's a talented hitter. But as we move down the line, and now you look at a guy like, again, Wenzel has not had it in the last month or so. Dylan Dingler hasn't had it in the last month or so, but he's a very capable hitter. His average is still above 270. He's got the best average on the team. Zach McKinstry was so He was an all-star this year. Javi Baez is batting 750 right now, whatever it is. So you have the tools there. I think the problem is, and I don't want to get too much into the offseason, is that all of these things to me, they have not moved Riley Green or Torkelson or Carpenter out of the heart of the order all year. All the other musical chairs that happen, those guys get penciled in 3, 4, 5 every day. No one bats an eye. And at a certain point when things were sliding, there was no movement. And if you want to argue, which I think is fair, that they don't have anyone to plug and play because who is going to bat 3, 4, 5, I understand it. And at a certain point, if guys are successful, like Javi Baez has been successful in the first 2 games of this series in the 8-hole or wherever he's batting in this lineup. So do you really want to move him at 7 or 8, wherever he's at? Do you really want to move him up to 3 tomorrow? Probably not. That to me is you hitting the panic button and losing your mind and pressing buttons that don't need to be pressed. But the moral of the story is all of these things that we're talking about, the pinch hitting Jahmai Jones for Riley Green, which I actually do respect in a fucked up way, that you finally looked at Riley and go, bro, we pencil you in at 4 every day. You have been a non-factor for this team for the last 2 months. Jahmai, grab a bat. I actually respect
you've had your
it,
chances, right?
but these are moves that needed to have been made months ago or within the last month, because now we are to me, AJ Hinch doing that is you waving the white flag of we have no fucking answers. Someone get up there and go get a hit for us. That is not a move that needs to be made in game 2 of the wild card series. That move gets made early mid-September, and it never happened. And that's my criticism of AJ Hinch. My other criticism of AJ Hinch is in this game today, for a guy that masturbates over the analytics like nobody I've ever seen before in baseball. You throw a rookie in Troy Melton, who's been one of your best bullpen arms. You throw him in the game against 3 left-handed hitters back to back to back. He gets lit the fuck up. You probably left him in for a bat or 2 long, and now the game is over. So I just so all the moves.
Rabs, I get that, but who would you would have went after you go Finnegan? And I think they were saving Vest for the 9th.
Herder, right to Herder against.
I mean,
the
Herder
lefties.
gave up a 2-run homer too, but
of course the game was gone at that point.
No, Rabs, I don't disagree with that. The thing about it is, at that point of the game, you're trying to keep it zeros. I think I trust Melton more than Herder at this point. So
I don't disagree.
So I didn't think that was crazy. You're right, Rabs. That's a tough spot to put a guy into, and he got rocked. So it wasn't the right move. Maybe Herder would have been the right move. I could see what AJ was doing there.
Sure. What's unfortunate about all of it at the end of the day is this Cleveland Guardians team, outside of Jose Ramirez and Steven Kwan, every single guy on this team bats 200 to 222 with no power. But in the big moments, they find a way to get the bat to the baseball and they manufacture runs. And your team hasn't done that for the last 2 months. So, with that being said, going into tomorrow, and it's the last thing I have to say about this, because we can talk about this team and what they should do, shouldn't do in this offseason after the season's officially over. I am more than happy to spend hours talking about the roster composition and this, that, and the other. In the scope of this series, you send Jack Flaherty to the mound tomorrow. And all I can hope for is that in Jack Flaherty's long and pretty damn solid MLB career, that you get the best version of Jack Flaherty tomorrow. And I promise you, if you get that, you do factually have a chance to win this baseball game. The unfortunate reality of where we are at is that in life, and especially in sports, when people show you who they are and when teams show you who they are, you have no choice but to believe them. And this team, for the last month to 2 months since the All-Star break, the Seattle series before the All-Star break, has shown you that all of the gritty Tigers and the grit and the blah, 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 blah. Kiss my ass. You guys have sucked for the last 2 months. And this fan base doesn't deserve it, because I haven't seen a single player get fired up in the media. I haven't heard your manager say anything to the media about something's got to give. We got to tighten it up here together. There's been no conversation.
Hate the bullshit, but yeah, Ravs, I'm on your side here. When Hinch shows, we didn't really care about that. We're into the playoffs.
Yeah, you should care.
It's
You had the number 1 seed, dude. What the
Yeah,
fuck
you
are you
should.
talking
and I
about?
understand that's kind of the mindset that I was trying to sell.
He's trying to sell his team, but through the media, it would just be like, hey, we fucked up. New season. How about you just say that?
Correct. Or again, somebody, and I'm not going to get into like there were some people that were upset. There was a part of me too when they're popping champagne in Boston for backing their way in. I was a little bit upset. No one declines the champagne shower. I get it. But there is, for all the fucking grit and grime, and this team finds ways to win, it's been gone for a very long time.
Yep.
And unfortunately, nobody in that team except Javi writing the beautiful letter, which whatever the fuck that was, I actually appreciate the fact that someone took the time to do something, but it is too little too late for these guys. And I don't feel bad for them. I'm angry. I'm upset. And as I kind of drag that into the start of at the start of this, is that this team has given me no reason to believe that they will look any different tomorrow than they did today, than they even did the day before when the series started on Tuesday, than they did in Boston, than they did against Cleveland, in the month to 2 months to the All-Star game before that. They have given me no reason to believe. This team has not had a big moment. They haven't had a big hit. They haven't had a guy come out of the woodwork and be a hero. They have had none of it. So this team has shown you who they are. So tomorrow, here's my approach. My favorite baseball team that I have loved for my entire life plays in a playoff game tomorrow. And I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to watch them and I'm going to root like hell and I'm going to sweat through my shirt again and I'm going to be texting here, there, and whatever, but I have zero, and I don't want to hear it from you, Uncle Steven, zero hope or confidence that they are winning tomorrow. If they win,
hit it on the nail.
If they win, wonderful, boys. Let's go get them, and we can start this same conversation all over again. But even if they do win tomorrow, you cannot sell me that all of a sudden I'm going to see this team score 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, and it's fucking 7-1. Fuck you, Cleveland. We're out of here. And Tarek Skubal runs to the mound and pulls his pants down and shows his ass to everyone. You can't sell me that's going to happen because this is not the same baseball team that was, here's the 50 burger graphic, 1st to 60 wins, 1st to 70, best team in baseball. Fuck you. Fuck all of them. This team fucking blows right now. So go, if you have any gumption, if there's any fight left in this team and this gritty Tigs, you can burn the fucking t-shirts if you don't win this baseball game tomorrow. I'm done with the fucking charity act. Let's go 1-0. You do have to go 1-0 tomorrow. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You got yourself in the playoffs. You had an opportunity to show the entire city and the entire league that, you know what? We were awful down the stretch. It's a new season. We're going to go beat the fuck out of Cleveland and keep moving because our goal at this year was here and we operated on this level all year long and we're going to get right back to it. You blew it. And now if
you don't win tomorrow
and if you don't, the season's over. And you're right, Collins. People deserve to be fired. People should be traded, and this fan base deserves to be pissed. So go do your job tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I don't want to hear your fucking manager if they lose tomorrow. Well, you know, I thought we played hard and we fought, and that's just baseball. No, it's not just baseball. It's the most epic collapse in the history of the sport, and nobody in this organization has had to answer for it, and they're going to fucking blow everything tomorrow if they don't take care of business. That's my rant. This term deserves to be in nobody's good graces. Nobody's good graces. Do your job and win the game tomorrow. You guys suck. And here I am in my Tigers hat that I bought the other day to support this team. Fuck all of you.
My last thing. Wow. My last thing. If the Tigers lose tomorrow, obviously the season's a failure. But you could argue that if they win tomorrow and then lose the next playoff series, the season's still a failure. You didn't make it any further than you did last year. You blew the division down the stretch, like you just said, Rabs. I don't want to turn this into my own personal rant. I'm just saying That's the pedestal we put this team on in July, and that's unfortunately where we're at.
Trent, I think it would take the venom out of the fan base if they beat Cleveland. I do think
Okay,
that.
sure, because you send Cleveland home and you're happy.
It's just it almost feels like, oh, Michigan State went 5-7. They beat Michigan though. That's nice.
Yes, great.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're still not happy. You're not happy about it. But like I think it would take that. If they lose, it's gonna be cataclysmic with the fan base.
Great comparison.
And there will be pressure from day one next year on this team. So for the sake of no, but for the sake of my well-being, I hope they win. But Rab's hit on the head. I have zero hope.
No, I'm not. There's no more emotional attachment. They've shown me what they are.
I have emotional attachment, but I'm dead inside.
Yes, I have just been waiting. And of course, guys, a lot of the things, the people listening to this podcast know that obviously I get that's a lot of the things I say are tongue in cheek. I love the team. I love the city. I love the organization.
I love Chip Hale.
Chip Hale's dead to me. I don't even know where he is. But my point is this the fan base. You just deserve to see a team with some fight. And when the going got tough for this team, they have not nobody. There is not a single person besides Tarek Skubal on Tuesday has answered the bell to just step up and be like, you know what, enough's enough. This is the most limp dick. Sorry excuse for a group of men playing a sport. There is no fight. There's no heart. They just go out there and they look like they know something's about to go wrong. Every single time they have taken the field in the last X amount of weeks, they look like a group that just goes out there and knows that the other shoe is about to drop at some point. And that to me is what losers do. They're a bunch of losers right now. And again, you can change the narrative tomorrow. You win the game. You get the monkey off your back. You beat Cleveland. We roll into the ALDS, and you get another chance. We give you another chance to reset and change the narrative and come out and find some firepower. And you know what? If they lay another egg in that series, they ain't getting past the ALDS. If they play this way against whoever they see. They're not. They might squeak by tomorrow on a miracle, but you ain't winning the World Series this year. And if they do, I will eat dog poop on the podcast. Well, I will just eat dog poop.
Okay, I wouldn't say that on the pod, but because I will hold you to that. The thing that's so frustrating about it is, and I said this earlier, the thing about it is they will probably lose tomorrow on a miracle. Know what I mean?
Well, that's how they deserve to go out. Cleveland gets all the breaks because they deserve it. We get no breaks. We don't deserve shit.
No,
they don't deserve anything.
Raps, that's what I'm saying though. You'll watch the game and they'll suck you back in tomorrow as they get these runners on base or they take an early lead, and they just will choke on applesauce if it's not extending the lead or doing something like that. I have 100% certainty that this scenario. They get an early lead. Cleveland has a big inning in the 8th inning after we don't extend the lead again.
For sure, because that's
it's
how
going to
it
happen
seems like
again.
every game is gone. And Collins, I thought that whole narrative on Tuesday when they tagged Jose Ramirez out between third and home, I was like, that's it. The momentum is shifted.
I thought so too, Raps. I bought back in.
Yep, I'm like, we have not gotten a break in so long, and you know what? Now we get to today, and Javi Baez hits a ball through the infield to score 2 runs, and in this video goes the review. I have to wait through a whole Avengers Endgame movie for them to make a decision, and Zach McKinstry's out. They take the run away, and we don't even get close to scoring again. You'd think we do because we had runners at third base, second base, first base a million times, but you and I both know it's like Paul Blart. You swivel with your left hip forward, creating the illusion that you have a gun, but you and I both know you don't. You swivel with your left hip forward with runners on first and third with no outs, creating the illusion that you're going to break the game open, but you and I both know you're not going to. And that's Tigers baseball, and that's what I will leave you with. Trent, do you have anything else to say? Collins, anything else to say?
No,
before we wrap it up?
Nothing. Let's wrap it.
Wonderful. That's it.
Can't wait to watch Michigan State lose by 50 to Nebraska on Saturday.
When it rains, it pours. That's all I got. The Motown Rundown, you can find us on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Motown_Rundown. We're also on YouTube. This will be on there. Just search up the Motown Rundown. We are on Spotify exclusively for the time being. Go ahead and give us a follow, because every time we post an episode, you'll know about it. We will be back with you next week, and hopefully, by the grace of God, if there is anything that is real and pure in this world, we will be talking about Tigers baseball next week as they travel to Who Cares and Who Knows in the ALDS. This is the Motown Rundown. That's Ryan Collins. That's Trent Bally. I'm Ryan Rabinowitz. Unfortunately, we all root for the Tigers. God bless you boys tomorrow. Good luck, and please get the job done. So we
What if
can
they score
keep
10
doing
runs
this.
tomorrow?
Score 10 runs tomorrow. Why not? Curly fries for everyone. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.